Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your patience to stay back until the last presentation. Okay, we are the representative for Crystal Enterprise by our team Apollo. So compared to the other companies that you research, this is a very small company that we found that this research will be beneficial for most of the companies in New Zealand because as a research say that many of the companies in New Zealand are small and medium enterprises. So in the total of our research, we have been there for 4 visits, and then we will present about the outcomes of the observation and recommendations. So let me introduce my team member. So first of all, it's Kushal, our team chairman, and then Joshua is our client relationship manager, and me myself, the action learning coach. And then Gagan is the literature reviewer, and Chuchu will be the team coordinator. So our project objective will be to improve process efficiency and the accounts. Next, I'll pass it to Joshua to explain about the background of the company.
Okay, just a short background about Crystal Enterprises. They were formed back in 2007, primarily for compliance repairs on imported vehicles from overseas. The team is formed of panel beaters, mechanical staff, and professional engineers. The company specializes in full mechanical repairs and engine services, all mechanical requirements of the compliance process, smash repairs, insurance quotes, and the company has achieved various landmarks in the repair industry, and it has helped them to excel as a major compliance repairer in their area. The organization for Crystal Enterprises is Dio Chandra as the owner of the company. He overlooks and oversees the company, and he makes final decisions. The 2IC is Raju. Raju is in charge of the operational area and the accounts area. There's 1 senior mechanic and there's 3 junior mechanics. So the cash customer, there's actually 2 cash customers. One is the individual that comes in, the one-off customer that just comes in, and there are other customers where they come back repetitively, so they're frequent customers for Crystal Enterprises. So as you can see from the chart flow, the cars are received, and then the cars is checked by the mechanics, and then a job sheet is filled out. The 2IC then looks for quotes for parts, and then he then proposes the prices to the customer. So the customer is able to accept it or decline it. If they decline, then the car is given back to the customer, they're free to go. If they accept it, the parts are ordered, the car is repaired, then there's a finalized job sheet. Then the information is put into the system, and then the owner gives the invoice to the customer. The other customer is the trade customer. So these are car dealers that have accounts with Crystal Enterprises. So these deals with the cars that actually come from overseas. So the company receives the imported cars. The car is then checked to see what needs to be fixed. A job sheet is done by the mechanic, and then the 2IC looks for the prices for the parts, and then he automatically just goes and starts ordering the parts. The mechanics have to fix the cars according to New Zealand road legislation and rules, so it's safe to drive within New Zealand. The vehicle is then taken to a compliance centre such as VTNZ or AA or Joshua. Once it is approved, the car comes back to Crystal Enterprises. The job sheet is finalised. Information is put into the system by the 2IC, and then the owner sends out the invoice to the customers, and then the car gets delivered back to the car dealer. So I'll pass the time back on to Wendy to focus on understanding the problems of the company.
Okay, as we mentioned that there are 2 objective in our project, which is to improve efficiency and also the account. I'll explain about the debriefing and the labor hours in the efficiency part. So for the debriefing, basically they're expected to be a debriefing every morning by the owner that the 2IC will be having a meeting with the mechanics to explain what will happen on the day. But on the 3 visits of us, we observed that there's no debriefing at all, and at last we found that the 2IC Raju explained about that he doesn't like to have a meeting early in the morning. He would prefer to do it in the afternoon. That's why we come up with a solution. Some of the solution that to use the communication tools to communicate with the mechanics, or the second one to utilize the break times to communicate and update. And for the labor hours, because there's this is related to the accounts when the invoice when the owner want to charge on the customer. That's why they have no tracking on the labor hours that the mechanics works on the cars. So we have come up with the solutions that to introduce management software and also manually update at the notebook as well as the job sheet at the real time. Yeah. The next will be Chuchu to explain about the free services and ordering.
Crystal offers many free services for customers. For example, the free picking up and dropping off. But we think it's sometimes there will be a waste of time and labors. We did a research, which is we ring to the competitors within 5 kilometers from Crystal, and none of them will offer these free services. So we suggest Crystal start charging for the service. And another factor will affect the efficiency and the time is ordering parts and delivery parts. If the parts will be delayed, the whole job will also be delayed. So for this problem, we suggest Crystal to start making more inventories. But sometimes the special parts it's hard to find. So next,
thank you. So there are 2 uncontrollable matters at Crystal Enterprises. First of all, is engineer. The engineer works as a freelancer. He works with the company, not for the company. So he controls all the meeting hours. He cancels the meeting whenever he wants to, and without any notification and without any solid reason. Second is availability. He's not available instantly when company needs him. So there is a whole procedure the company has to follow to approach him, send him emails, and then they receive the email or confirmation email from him he's available or not. If he's not available, company can't even call another engineer because of the territory issues, because the whole engineer council has divided the whole city into parts. Their specific part is allotted to assign to a specific engineer, so they have this engineer code that one engineer can't invade the another engineer's part by working there, so they can't even call another engineer. So and Crystal Enterprises can't even afford the permanent engineer because it's a very small scale company, so they can't afford the services of another engineer. And the second aspect that company does not have the control over is the shipment and delivery of the cars. Most of the time times and arrival of delivery of shipment is fixed in advance. So sometimes the shipment gets delayed due to congestion on port, or sometimes bad weather. So on those times the employees or workers are there on the site, but they have nothing to do on the site, so there's no function to perform and nothing to do, so that's a waste of time. So I'll pass to Kushal.
Right, so I'll be covering accounts within Crystal. and with a small company such as Crystal, managing accounts is a very manual process. It seems from what we've observed is that they don't really have a set process in place in order to manage accounts efficiently. For a company this small, they have a lot of their accounts receivable have a lot of owing, which is close to 22,000. A client itself, there's one client that owes 15,000 itself, and then this other 7,000 is accumulated. So this figure was taken about a month ago. We haven't spoken to the clients then or updated since, so we don't know whether it's improved or whether it's accumulated. But 22,000 is a lot of accounts receivable to have for a small company such as that. So in saying that, we've come up with a solution to tackle these challenges they've been facing, and one of which is to create a three-stage reminder letter or emails. So basically, obviously, since the account's receivable, it's a client that's ongoing. The best way to tackle through that is, once the job is done, send an invoice by email or by letter, whichever the client prefers. The second letter would be just following up as a reminder, and the third letter would be saying, hey, this account's overdue. If it's not paid by this amount of time, then penalties will occur. So if they get the admin staff to get on top of the accounts with the three-stage warning letters, they're very likely to see results rather than letting everything free fall and give clients the opportunity to play whenever they want or whenever they can. Another one we have is to create a quote before the job begins. So what usually happens is when the customer comes in, they start doing the work immediately, and the quote for the client isn't created. So because it's not created, the admin staff cannot create the invoice for it. So because the quote has not been done and the invoice has not been done, the invoices pile up, and sometimes that leads to 3 days of the invoices that still has to be processed, whereby the actual process is getting it done on that day. So the last 2 or 3 times we visited, they had invoices piled up for 4 days, and with that they'll have a large amount of money, that's not counted within accounts receivable, that comes in later on the day, which only then delays the payments if the client wants to be on top of things. Lastly, the owner does the quoting himself. What he can do is just create a format for quoting, and train the 2IC who can do the quoting on behalf. That would make the owner's life a lot easier, and also stop the invoices from piling up. Lastly, so just to add everything up, we have a fee solution in place. For time, it's best to improve communications between employees, introduce management software, or manually note it down in a notebook, or let the mechanic do the picking up and dropping off whenever they're free, not when they're busy. Accounts, the 3-stage warning letter, as I mentioned earlier, and given allocated time for 2IC to follow up. Right now, he does his accounts whenever he's free. He doesn't really have an allocated time. The best time that we concluded would be in the morning between 8 to 10 a.m. And for uncontrollable matters, so for example, if the shipment was meant to arrive on a Friday and it doesn't arrive, situations such as that, you can't really do much. So it's best to practice OSH and just make the workshop tidy and a neat place. And that's it from our team.
Have you gauged the reaction by the owner of the company, UIC, to some of your recommendations that you were making? Sorry.
We haven't been to the client.
That's nice.
Yeah, I was just saying we haven't been to the client just yet.
Wow.
Have you guys anticipated any results? Like how long will it take for the invoices to get better or something like that? How long will it take for improvements to start reflecting in the business?
That will be dependent on the 2IC and how quick he puts the process in place. So it can be easily done. He just needs to create a template for the 3 warning letters, edit the client's name and the amount, and have several different templates that he just follows up at least, let's say, every Tuesday or every second Wednesday. But it's all dependent on the 2IC and how fast he manages to push the process through. If he pushes the process through, for him personally, it should take less than a week or 2 to get used to, or less than a month to get used to the overall picture. So it's all about how willing they are to implement it.
Have you done some thinking about the templates? Have you started to design and make some specific recommendations about what should be in the template?
So I've looked into some templates. I haven't thoroughly created. I've just looked into it to get an idea of it. But if it's something that we'll go to the client and speak to them about it. And if that's something they're willing to go forward with it, we'll be happy to give them a start. And then if there's any edits they want to make, they can go forward with that. But I've just looked at some examples and have a rough idea of how it should be laid out on top of my head. Yeah.
I've been looking for some management software as well, especially for car workshop. But yeah, because they have several kind of solution package, like for 1 to 3 person workshop or a big garage workshop. Yeah, different package. So I might show it to the client when I reach the client site. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, they include everything, like from the register of the car. I mean, when they come in and then they fill in the job sheet, and then they update the status of the cars, and then also include the accounts and also put into the data in collection. Yeah.
Right. Good. Good. Okay. Any more questions from anybody?
Oh.
Yep.
Did you guys have a handout?
No, we don't.
Oh, okay. No, I just thought I didn't get it. No, that's all right.
Okay. Okay, we'll just give them a quick hand for answering the questions.
I really like the diagram you've created and you've polished it, and you divided as you had to tackle a lot of issues, and you divided them into 3 major parts. Yes, well done. Thank you.
Yeah, that diagram was interesting, especially dividing it into 2 parts. It makes it easy to understand for the viewer.
My point, I really do compliment you on the diagrams. They've improved tremendously in terms of explaining what's going on there. I thought your introduction was very good, succinct, and gave a context that kinds of problems faced in this organisation are experienced in other small, medium organisations, and broaden the context and applicability of the solutions that you're coming up with. Yeah.
Yeah, overall it was real good. I noticed a lot about the accounts part. You went into good detail, allowed me to fully understand what was going on there and where they needed to improve and what's going on. So yeah, I thought that was real good.
Okay. Areas for improvement? Right. Just a minor point, the word debriefing is used after an event has taken place. So I think the word you want to use is briefing. So you brief, we're going on a mission, we're going to bomb the Iraqis or something like that, and then after the mission you do a debrief to work out why Black Hawk 1 got shot down on the return. So briefing, event, debrief. Yeah, just a minor point there. From Seth was making the point, okay, you present your key recommendations, and this is for everybody. Make sure you also make it clear what the benefit of the recommendations will be. Whether you include that, here's the recommendation, maybe even have a table, key recommendation, and then key result or key benefit that will come from that benefit. It sounds like a good improvement to the structure we've been developing. Other improvements?
There's a simple thing, the way we write our stuff in the presentation. There was a point when you said that it's the business cannot afford engineer. The better way to write it is not a viable option. Just thought. I mean, if the owner is sitting here, maybe he won't like that.
Maybe if they brought their cash in, they would be able to.
Yeah, and I would recommend next time have printouts for us as well, and not exactly the structure of Peter suggested to follow, but it can be understood because you covered, as I've said earlier, a lot of issues. Thank you.
Other positive points you want to remark that's not been mentioned? No, I've done that one. Any other positive points? No? Anybody else got any positive points? No?
Just the structure of the presentation, because we have lots of problems. If
Yes.
you go through the structure will be like one problem.
Yeah.
This problem solution recommended. Then this problem.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
spread out. So
It's
we just focus
difficult.
on the problem and then on
Yeah.
solution.
Yeah. I just want to compliment Wendy in particular. I think you did a great introduction to it. You've got great confidence in terms of setting a confident introduction to the whole presentation. So well done. Yeah, all of you, good too, and also good teamwork from all the team as well. It's all evident that you contributed. Good. So thank you very much, and I think really all of you a good high standard of presentation. I've given a couple of marks in the high 90s, or at least in the 90s, without giving too much away. And yeah, well done for the rehearsals that you've done and bringing it all together today. And some of the presentations today really dazzling in terms of the improvements that have been made. So,